I want to just tell you a little bit about my book. I've been telling you other things about the book in the past, about the paranormal aspect of the book. I just want to mention a little bit about some other things. We all need encouragement in life. I was encouraged by someone who is actually watching these videos. And I think some parts of this book deals with discouragement. Like the main character, Derek, is discouraged for not having a job. He goes through seminary and can't find work. And I mentioned this before, but that's a lot in our lives, that we get discouraged a lot when things aren't going the way we want them to go. But sometimes we just have to realize that God wants us to wait. Even the Apostle Paul had places he wanted to go, but the Spirit prevented him from going to, I think it was Asia. But anyways, the point is, at times God wants us to wait, and during the time of waiting, we can fall more in love with Him, fall in love more with Jesus, learn more of the Spirit and the power of the Spirit in our lives. And that's one thing I learned during this time of waiting for a publisher for my second novel, just waiting for some opportunity to come up so I can go into more kind of a ministry situation. In fact, I was in a ministry in a different state. Right now, I'm in Wisconsin. I was in a different state, and I won't mention where, but it was I thought it was going to be different than it was, and in some ways it turned out better. In some ways it fell short of my expectations. And I think that's where a lot of our discouragement comes from, is when our expectations aren't being met. That could be true in a job, it could be true in marriage. We come to marriage with certain expectations, thinking that everything's going to be perfect now, that life can start. But for some people, the marriage only results in more misery than they had when they were single, because they had certain expectations, and those expectations weren't being met. So go back to my book. There's a part where Rachel, the wife of Derek, gets a bit discouraged. She is sent to this demonic world because of Derek's, you call it sin, you call it mistake. But the thing is, she has caught up and has to go into this demonic world, and Derek has to go look for her. And in the meantime, she gets discouraged, and she starts to listen to other people, like a witch I have in the book, and a demon that I mentioned before named Ra. But anyways, she listens to them and starts to follow the path of evil. And Derek has to not only rescue his wife, but has to bring her back to himself and have her fall in love with him again, and more importantly, to fall in love with Jesus again. All that to say is that when we get discouraged, there are many things we can look towards, but we need to keep our eyes on Jesus at all times. And for myself, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. I know that's the best life. When I look back now, the life I have that is of no regrets are the times when I've been close to Jesus. And the most miserable times are those times when I start to take my eyes off from Him. So I'll just close by saying I talked about my novel, Closet. You can check out my website, ericjohnswanson.com. You can read a sample chapter. I'm hoping it'll be available on Kindle and a Nook very soon. I'm assuming it's on Kindle now. But it can also be purchased as a hardcover. But for those with the e-readers, the ebook option, of course, is much cheaper. So thank you for listening, and I'll just leave you with some sights of where I'm walking right now.